Hello friends, welcome to www.bispsolutions.com. Today in Oracle Planning and Budgeting Cloud Service, we will see creating member formula. So let me first explain you the concept of member formula with the help of this example. So here you can see there are various accounts given, and there is actual data for January. Now the unit sold in the month of January is 200. Average selling price is 30. So if we calculate the sales for the month of January, we get it as 6,000. Next, the operating expenses done in the selling of these units is 1,500. So on the basis of sales information and operating expense information, here I have calculated the gross profit, which is basically the difference of sales and operating expense. To calculate gross profit margin, I have divided the gross profit with the sales and multiplied it with 100. Now let's enter the data for the month of February. Let's suppose the sale is the number of units sold to 250 at the average selling price of 32. So here when we copy the same formula for the month of February, we get the total sales as 8,000. Then we have incurred almost 3,000 in the operating expenses. So now if we calculate the gross profit and gross margin with the help of the same formula that we've used earlier for the month of Jan, we get the figures for gross profit, and gross margin over here comes to be 62.5%. Let me enter the data for March as well. So I have got the units and the average selling price and the operating expenses. I just have to copy the formulas to derive the figures for sales, gross profit and gross profit margin. So here in the Excel, you have seen how the formulas help in getting the automated figures. Similarly, a member formula in PBCS is a custom calculation. So in PBCS, a member formula is a custom calculation, or you can say expression applied to a member, such as account, cost center or entity in a dimension. These formulas allow you to define how certain values are calculated dynamically based on other members' values. Now, why do we need member formulas? So, firstly, as in the example over here, I have done all these calculations with the formulas, applying the formulas. So first is it automates calculations. So instead of manually entering values or performing calculations offline, member formulas can automatically compute values based on defined logic. This is useful for key financial metrics like here you can see gross profit, operating income, or any other performance indicators. Secondly, there is consistency. So formulas ensure consistent calculations across multiple data forms, reports, and dashboards, preventing potential manual errors and ensuring reliable result, which is very clear from this example that I have cited. And of course, then thirdly, we can say there is dynamic calculations. Member formulas are recalculated whenever the underlying data changes. Like here itself, we have changed the data for the month of February and March. So the gross profit members, they have the values there got updated automatically. Now there is custom business logic. You can embed your organization's specific business rules into PBCS using member formulas. This allows the system to reflect exactly how the organization calculates things like depreciation, allocation of expenses, or forecasting matrix. And lastly, it simplifies reporting. There are complex reports that rely on multiple calculations. It can be gathered faster since the calculations are handled within the system. For instance, you can create a member formula for key ratios like operating margin or any custom performance indicator you want to track. Now let us create the member formula. So here I am logged as administrator to the application. And we will go to the dimension account. I have created gross profit here, one of the members. Let's create some revenue and operating expense members. I am creating revenue here firstly, and I have set the data storage property as dynamic calc, because I want to create some of the descendants of the revenue. And here the data storage will be stored being a child member. We'll create two of the revenue members here. Okay, now we'll create operating expense. The account type will be changed to expense over here, and data storage will be dynamic calc. Rest of the properties I'm not changing. Now I'm adding children for the operating expense. I'll keep two descendants both in revenue and expense. I have created gross profit. We'll create one more member as gross profit margin. Now I will refresh the database.